Well, I wanted to jump right in and talk about mindfulness. It's been the story of your career and the passion of your career. Tell me how you first got into this, and I suppose we should define mindfulness for those listeners who may be new to this subject and listening for the first time.
I noticed not infrequently that I would do things like I'd walk into a mannequin in a store and I'd apologize, forgetting my keys, which is my father's biggest um, sin, we'll say. And so just started paying attention to people, smart people, not seeming to be there. And then I moved up to, I was teaching at the Graduate Center in New York. And then I moved up to Cambridge and I thought, well, Cambridge, Harvard, all of these super smart people, surely you won't find this. And then I found because I was coming from New York, there were things that would happen like I would look for a parking space. It's 3:30 and the banks used to close at 3 o'clock. So I'd park at the bank and nobody ever did that. I go into a bank when it was open and there'd be 8 people on one line, 5 on another, and then there'd be a teller without anybody in front of him or her. And so it seemed that this mindlessness was pervasive. That started a lot of the research, which over more than 40 years has shown me that mindlessness is pervasive. Virtually all of us, almost all of the time, are not there. But when we're not there to know we're not there.
It's something so common you can see it every day all over the place.
But not in yourself. A lot of the work that I've done, the initial work all started with the mindlessness of ostensibly thoughtful action, where people seemed to be thinking, but they weren't. And this happened at the time when the field of psychology was mired in the belief of what was called the cognitive revolution. And so I said, wait a second, before we spend all this time thinking about what people are thinking, we might want to take a step back and see, are they thinking at all? And as I've already said, the answer was a resounding no. Um, Although I did some of the very early work on meditation, I quickly switched to mindfulness without meditation.
Tell me about that. I'm curious because it's such a big. Some people have called it a revolution. This idea of meditation and mindfulness. John Kabat-Zinn, yoga.
Yeah, no, yes and no. Meditation is not mindfulness. Meditation is a practice you go through to result in post-meditative mindfulness. But mindfulness, as I study, it doesn't require meditation. It's very, very simple. It's the act of noticing new things. That's all you have to do. And when you notice new things about the things you thought you knew, you come to see you didn't really know them as well as you thought you did. So your attention naturally goes to it. This act of noticing is the essence of engagement. And we have lots of data showing not only that it's easy, but it's energy begetting, not consuming.
And would you say it's different from education? My wife's a teacher. How is it different than education and learning?
Keith, it is so different that I don't know where to begin. I think that schools, we'll leave your wife out of this, but schools in general are the biggest perpetrators of mindlessness. Schools teach us to be mindless. Schools teach us that there are absolute right answers and that what we need to do, and we tell students, memorize the answers. And so I was a straight A student, as you might imagine, Harvard, Yale, all the way through. Okay, then I go to this horse event not that many years ago. And this man asked me, can I watch his horse because he was going to get his horse a hot dog? Well, the reason I bragged about myself, Harvard, Yale, wow, yay me, was because I knew without any doubt, horses don't eat meat. They're herbivorous. Okay, so basically he was asking me to do something that was ridiculous. But I said yes, nonetheless. He comes back with the hot dog and the horse ate it. And it was that moment that I realized that everything I knew could be wrong. So it was very humbling.
Right.
Now, schools teach us to act as if the world is absolute. And what we do is we hold it still, thinking that gives us some control over ourselves and over the world. But it's that very holding things still when in fact everything is varying that costs us mightily in terms of our health, our well-being, our efficacy, and so on.